Hi everyone, Intuitive Edge. I am back after a couple of weeks away. I was off on a road trip cross country, and I'm glad to be home and I'm glad to be back making videos. The road trip was really fun. Round trip was about 5,000 miles, so we went quite a ways and spent 17 days, I think it was, total on the road. And went to places like Yellowstone and Mount Rushmore and some of the places on my bucket list. So it was really fun. But I'm glad to be home, certainly. So a lot happened as I was away in the news. We had, of course, Mr. Epstein got arrested again, and it looks like that could be turning into something big. Also, lots going on always politically, but and California. We had that going on with the earthquakes, and I was really glad that we did not go there as part of our trip. So anyway, so let's get into some of these news things that have been happening. Let's get into this and see what the cards have to say. Be right back. So let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein and what's going on with this case. I'm going to do 4, I broke this down into 8 questions. 4 will be about Mr. Epstein. The other 4 will be about the island, his infamous Little St. James Island, and what's going on there, what will happen to the island. So what will happen to Jeffrey Epstein? What's going on there with him? The fallout for others, like kind of what's going to be the fallout from all of this. The hidden, what do we need to know, and then the future for him. Okay. So the first card out for him is the Two of Fire. It came in reversed. I'll show you the card upright. This is the card about looking for possibilities, looking for your future, kind of having a vision for the future. Came in reversed, indicating difficulty looking ahead, being fearful about the future, not knowing what the future will hold, feeling like almost like a sick, kind of in the pit of your stomach feeling, and just being a little fretful, a little worried. I get the feeling from him that there's something, I think it's related to the island, that he's worried or concerned about being uncovered, knowing that it will be, but being kind of having to resign to the fact that something's going to come out that you don't want out, and just kind of bracing for that. The fallout from this and how it affects others has the 4 of Sky. This is, to me, is like feeling withdrawn, almost wanting to go into hiding, kind of withdraw into your shell. It also feels like that's like the central focus. Like the eye of the storm is kind of on this piece. Okay, this cat, for instance, asleep, like trying to get away from it all. But yet that's the focal point, is this cat being like in trying to be under the radar, and yet that's the focus. Okay. Now on the question of the hidden, what we need to know, we've got the High Priestess. The Priestess. I'll show you this card. It came in reversed. This is a card of wisdom and intuition. And as a reversal, the feeling I get with this card is about power and intuition on a deeper level, on a higher level. Almost could be like a religious level. If you think in terms of kind of like the high priest and the high priestess, they represent higher wisdom, higher knowledge. And with this being on the reversal, in the position of what we need to know, I think this is telling us that what we need to understand about this case is the religious aspect to it, the cult aspect to this. That this isn't, there's more to this than just someone who had a fetish for underage people. This is there's a religious or a higher structure aspect to this. So we may have to understand that this is like a religion. It's a cult. It's not just a random person with money and access. That it's almost like an institution kind of thing. It's a religion. That's the feeling I get with it. And the feeling that with it being reversed and that hidden, that secret knowledge hidden too, that there's symbolism and hidden knowledge that goes with these cults. They have their own languages, many of them. And they talk among themselves in a certain way. They have their own customs, and there's I just feel like there's more to this than just some guy, some random guy, okay, who's rich and has influence. And we may have to think of it in those terms. Now, this next card is fascinating. I'll show it to you here. This one is the 5 of C. Now, if you look at this card, I'll show it to you in a second. This card it depicts a cat who fell in a pool and he's not happy. This is the card. Basically, the meaning of this card is loss, having to deal with a painful separation, loss, divorce, that kind of feeling with it. Now, what's interesting is the temple on this card. Take a look at this. Now, for those of you that have been following this case in the news and have seen the kind of strange temple that was on the island, I don't know if it's still there, but this cat, having fallen in the pool, dealing with loss over this island. I mean, if you look at this, it almost looks like a remote island. And to see that I think this is very much a pictorial representation of what is taking place up there. In terms of the loss, and just that emotional turmoil that goes with it. Okay. I feel like the island was very important to them, to him, to them, to the people that were involved. And this feels like a big loss to them, to him. Jeffrey Epstein, I think there's more than just Jeffrey Epstein is what I'm saying. Them, him, his group, the people involved. So next is the island itself, the truth about that, what we need to know, and what will be the outcome. Okay, the island itself. We have the sky tom, excuse me. This is the sky tom. This is an aggressive energy. As you can see, this cat is going after this young, innocent little bird, okay? And if you think of it in terms of what the island has been about, with that, catching, that aggressive energy, picture that cat catching a bird. It's kind of like that with the alleged things that have gone on there that involve trafficking of young people to that island for nefarious purposes. The truth of that is, now we have the 4 of fire. Now in this imagery, these cats are laying down, and there's this ball of light that comes in from the top, and they're looking at it with great interest, kind of lounging around at the same time, but being very interested in this ball of light. Now, we could look at this as a representation of something that this island, the people that participated in this, what they went there for was some type of what they thought was like enlightenment or some type of higher wisdom. And that's, if you think of it in terms of a cult, that's generally what cults promise or offer as well, is you join this group and then you get introduced into this higher realm of knowledge and wisdom that other people don't get. And you're like the in crowd and you're special and you get this coming into you, this information or wisdom or higher knowledge. And that seems to be the attraction. The truth of it is that this was about some type of higher spiritual experience or power. Now, obviously, this goes without saying, but that's their belief system, that this attraction of this cat catching the bird, if you know what I mean. I'm trying to be a little coy without saying things directly. I don't want to get flagged by YouTube. But this going in and trafficking minors was like the bait, the lure, it feels like, but the real goal was some type of higher knowledge. Now higher, in my view, is not like good or godly or helpful to mankind, but it's more of like a power, seeking a power, the higher wisdom of knowledge that brings power. Okay, this next card is the Fire Kitten. It came in reverse. This is on what do we need to know. And to me, with this messenger card, I'll show it to you here. You see this cat kind of playing with a candle flame. It came in reversed. And what I see with this is desperate, like somebody being there, like an active plan put in place to hide what's been happening or to conceal, to keep hidden. On what will be the outcome, we have the three of Earth. This is the builders, planning, strategizing. It does feel to me that this cult is going to, I want to say, like, go underground. Not that it isn't already, but there's pieces of it that some are desperately trying to hide even more than it is. And those parts are going to go underground in terms of just like, we're not going to be seen. We're going to be out of the limelight, out of sight. Some of it will escape. And this planning card on the outcome makes me think that there's like this, okay, we got to regroup and figure out where we're going from here and how to move what they do on. I think the biggest thing with this is, the biggest takeaway I get is to have an understanding about the level and the depth of what this is that we're looking at, and to not think of it in terms of just some guy with a fetish, but to understand that this is a network of people who view it as like a cult or more of an institution or more of a religious type of thing, and that it is a lifestyle. It's a seeking of power and domination and control, but also looking for it's like a false spiritual enlightenment. I mean, true spiritual enlightenment would not include harming other people, being devious or deceitful. That's not spiritual enlightenment. But in this kind of warped worldview that this group has, that is the goal. Is this, like, that's what they think they're getting, is this spiritual control. But it's not true spiritual power, but it's like a false spiritual power. Maybe you can look at it as in terms of like the dark side and the light side. Yes, there's spiritual power on the dark side and spiritual power on the light side as well. They're not equal. They're just if you think of like a thread, and one end is this and one end is that. They're on the continuum. The idea for most people, the idea is to become spiritually aware so that you become a more compassionate human being, and you work toward being more Christ-like, more godly, and following those that have set paths that have reached and attained that measure of communication and communion with God. And then there's the dark side that goes the other direction. Okay, this is more, I think, on the dark side because of the power and control and domination over innocence. But what troubles me is this outcome card, this regrouping, and looking to build again, preserve what's there, hide even more, and continue. So that's troubling. So I think the more light that can be shed on this, the better, and to, for people to understand that this is bigger than just one guy. That this is actually uncovering something that's really troubling and is not in the good of humanity, not in our best interest. And that these people are have psychopathic tendencies, or at least that fosters this, to be more aggressive-minded rather than love and light and honesty and truthfulness. Okay, it's kind of on the other side. Sorry if that's all jumbled, but that's what I get from this. I do have some concerns with it continuing and going underground, so shed the light out there and let people know what's really going on. And I think that a lot of it will come to light, and it is going to be troubling for some. But let's hope that the light gets shined in all the dark places. Okay. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I think I'll leave that one here. If you liked it, leave a like, and I'll be making more videos. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Bye-bye.